It's Sports with AJ here. So, today's video is my NFL season predictions, way too early predictions. Um, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. I haven't been posting as much recently because of school, and then I've had a lot of summer stuff as well, but let's get right into it. So, the the NFC, let's start with the NFC. So I have the 49ers at 14-3, the Eagles, the Saints winning their division, the Lions winning their division, Cowboys making the playoffs, the Giants making the playoffs, and then the Vikings making the playoffs. Then the teams that just missed it, the Rams, Cardinals, and Panthers. Then we got the Buccaneers, Packers, Seahawks, Falcons, Bears, and last we have the Commanders. Now in the AFC, we got the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars winning their division, the Steelers going 13-4, the Chargers making it, and the Ravens making it, and just missing it, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Jets, and then the Patriots, Colts at 7-10. I haven't seen many people expect them to do very well. I'm a big believer in Anthony Richardson, so I think he could do really good for them. The Browns, I'm not a big believer in the Browns. The Texans, I don't think they're going to be awful, but I don't think they'll be amazing. The Raiders, I'm not a big believer in Jimmy Garoppolo, and that overall defense is pretty bad, unlike the 49ers defense. And the Titans, I'm just not a big believer in that team whatsoever, and I don't think they're going to do much this upcoming season, but I could be wrong. But I think that overall, they probably are the worst team in that division. And so let's go right into the playoffs. So Steelers, Jaguars. Jaguars obviously have the quarterback advantage. You could you could argue that they have a better offense overall, but I'm gonna honestly go the Steelers here because of their defensive uh, style and TJ Watt and all those guys, Minka, Fitzpatrick. They've got a ton of guys on defense, and I think they're gonna get this win. Bills, Chargers. The Bills would get this one. Although I love the Chargers, um, the Bills probably win this game just off of them having better receiving options than the Chargers and a better overall roster and probably the better quarterback. Bengals and Ravens. I'm gonna I'm gonna lean the Bengals, but it's a pretty close one, I'd say. Lamar having something to prove this year versus Joe Burrow getting into another year where a lot of people have said that he's gonna be one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and I could see it. Like I also see the Lamar um, revenge tour, so to speak, where he can just come back and make a huge run. But I'm gonna go with the Bengals because of the receiving options being so much better. But there's also Mark Andrews on the Ravens, so it's gonna be a close matchup there if that happens. Lions Cowboys. We go with the 5 over the 4 again. It's honestly a hard one. The Cowboys have the better quarterback, obviously, and the better receiving options, I'd say. But defensively, it's pretty close. I mean, the Lions have this really good young defensive group, and I would probably lean the Lions defensively. Jared Goff is pretty underrated at quarterback, but I think the receiving options are just not there. The overall offense is not as good as the Cowboys. I'm gonna have the Cowboys take this one, but uh, Cowboys history and whatever. I'm not really thinking of that. I'm more so thinking of um, which team would I take. And Giants Saints. I'm gonna go with another upset here. I'm gonna go with the Giants because I'm just not a huge believer in Derek Carr making it far into the playoffs. And the rest of the teams in that division didn't do well for a reason. Um, Saints. I think the Saints are an okay team. I think they're going to be very carried by their offense and how if their offense is healthy and how their division is so bad. And that's really going to be the reason that they make it this far. But I think the Giants' overall offense is a lot better. And defensively, you could argue the Giants' defense is a lot better as well. Eagles Vikings. I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Vikings made it here because there's not many other teams that would probably make it here with a number one receiver like Justin Jefferson. It's pretty expected that you would make the playoffs, but the overall roster is not the greatest. But I think that the Eagles' defense is probably going to demolish the Vikings if this game happened. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Now, playoffs. Bills, Bengals. I'm going to. This is a hard one because the Bengals, I'd say, are a pretty underrated team. The Bills, on the other hand, are this stacked team in the sense that their defense is so much more. I don't think it's that much more better than the Bengals, but compared to the rest of the league, it's very good. And it's as well as the Bengals. I mean, I don't think the Bengals defense is amazing, but it's not as bad as people say it is. I'm gonna probably lean the Bills here to take the win. Chiefs Steelers. Honestly, this would be a pretty close matchup to me, just because of the Steelers defense being so good. They could give Mahomes a little bit of trouble. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here, taking the win. Cowboys Eagles in AFC East matchup, and while Cowboys fans would want me to take them here, realistically I would go the Eagles here, and 49ers Giants. Easily the 49ers win here as a Giants fan. Now, conference championships, probably gonna lean the 49ers in the NFC just because I can't see the Eagles really dominating that defense. That defense is just so freaking good in San Francisco. And while their offense isn't top tier per se, I still think the San Francisco 49ers defense can outweigh any other team in this division, in this conference, maybe even in the NFL, but that's up for debate. Chiefs, Bills, Mahomes is just on another level. He's if until someone stops Patrick Mahomes, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. And then my Super Bowl would be a rematch from you know which Super Bowl I'm talking about. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but Chiefs 49ers, except no Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that would probably be the Chiefs in that case. Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, I don't know which one would be starting by this point, which is the concern with the 49ers. Um, who's going to be the quarterback? Who's going to be the quarterback of the future in general? I'd assume Trey Lance ends up being the quarterback of the future. I assume he's going to be QB1, but you never know. He's a risk, although I was a huge fan of him entering that draft class. And while the Chiefs, they just have the surefire guy, the face of the franchise, Patrick Mahomes. While their defense isn't as good as the 49ers, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, that's all you need really to win a Super Bowl. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about my playoff predictions, my season predictions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.